Hello, sports fans. Welcome to the June 2nd meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. I'm past President Doug Saltzgaver, filling in again for President Catherine Staub. We're happy to have you all here at the Embassy Club today. And again, no one signed up to give the moment of inspiration. If you'd like to do that, give a moment of inspiration, you can do that by signing up in the lobby or online. And now, I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the four-way test.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, greet your fellow Rotarians.
We're in that circle of all the good
All right. We want to welcome several guests today. If you would please stand as your name is called, we will introduce you. Jason, a guest of Brandon Bennett. Clara, a guest of Colleen Rogers Messenger. Terry, spouse of Mike Heiser. Val, my wife. James King, a guest of the club. Kirby, a guest of Bob Crosscarry. There's probably a bunch of others, but I'm getting really antsy here. I want to get Coach up here soon. We're glad to have all of you here today. Thank you for being with us. 2 weeks ago, we heard from Harvey Fries of the Golf Fellowship about a Rotary Club of Des Moines golf outing to be held on Friday, June 10th. If you'd like to do some golfing, you can sign up today on the sheet that's on your table, or make sure you didn't sign up before. We don't want you to have to golf twice. And now, it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. You don't think I haven't been waiting for this for a long time? Of course, I've got my Iowa State attire on. A native of Davenport, Iowa, Bill Finley graduated from William Penn University in Oskaloosa with a BS in Business Administration and Economics in 1979. He also did some coaching there with the women's basketball team and had stints at Fresno State and Notre Dame, and then became head coach at Toledo, where he has been inducted into their Athletic Hall of Fame. Bill, is it all right if I call you Bill?
I've been called worse, yes.
Okay. And we can talk later about improving our season tickets here too. Bill has been the head coach of the Iowa State women's basketball team since 1995. In 2007, Iowa State awarded Bill a lifetime contract, displaying their ultimate confidence in his abilities. For Bill's family, basketball is a way of life. He insists his wife Deb is his all-time greatest recruit. The couple's oldest son, Billy, has gone into the family business and joined the Iowa State coaching staff in 2010. Many of you may know Billy is married to former Cyclone great point guard Lindsey Metters. Stephen, the youngest son of Deb and Bill, graduated from ISU in 2011 and served on coaching staffs of a number of universities, and now is in Northern Iowa. Mr. Ullman back there is happy about that. Before Bill came to ISU, the average game attendance was about 730 fans. Compare that now to nearly 10,000 per game. My wife Val and I have been attending games there since 1997, and that's when I had black hair. Now, a quick story about the Iowa State way that you're going to learn a lot more about today. Val and I were in Dallas, Texas a number of years back for the Big 12 basketball tournament, having dinner and of course wearing our Iowa State attire. And our server asked us, "Is everyone from Iowa nice?" I thought that was an odd question. Why do you ask? She said, "Well, 2 days before I had to serve dinner to another women's basketball team here. And she said these young women were rude, condescending, and used vulgar language. And when my supervisor said I was going to have to serve another team the next day, I wasn't very excited." Well, that other team turned out to be the Cyclones. And she said everyone there, the staff and the team members, were extremely kind, friendly, and courteous. That woman likely had no idea what our team's record was on the court, but she will certainly remember what our team's record is off the court. If you remember anything about Bill's visit here today, I ask that you remember this. Every student athlete who has completed her eligibility with Bill has graduated from Iowa State with a degree. Think about that. How many young women has he coached in the last 26 seasons? And every one of them that made it to her senior year walked out of Iowa State with a degree. Think what that's done for those young women. Now it's my honor to ask Bill Finley to come up to the podium. Coach?
I have to apologize. Just so you know, this is just Red Bull and water. There's nothing stronger than that. I usually don't speak with notes because it makes me nervous. But I got to tell you something. This is all I'm speaking here for 20 minutes or whatever. All of this stuff I received from Kitty. She must have dealt with coaches in the past. I mean, look at that. I got every single thing I need to know, when I need to know it, where to park, where not to do, what to say, what not to say, who to talk to, who not to talk to, where to go, where's the restroom. So this is incredible. So thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor to be here. I've had the pleasure of being the women's basketball coach at Iowa State for, as Doug said, 27 years, and I've had the opportunity to do a lot of these things. My wife taught me a long time ago. The message is be short, be simple, just talk about yourself. And this is my job is to give you a few points about what we do. The number one thing is you always learn the crowd. Okay, how many people in the room are fans of the university in the eastern part of the state? Raise your hand, don't be embarrassed. I just want to make sure I speak a little slower for you. One of the things that I thought, we talk about, everyone talks about lifetime contract. And I'll give you two quick stories. When I got the lifetime contract, basically that just meant my contract extended until a certain age. And when you get a lifetime contract and you're a coach, some people wish you were dead, and then the lifetime contract's over. But my favorite story is we had basketball camp probably 5 years ago, and there was this young lady, and she was probably 9 years old, and she's running around, and camp ends, and I give my little, be gracious to your parents, give them the typical thing. And she's standing there, and all the kids are getting autographs and taking pictures, and she just kept standing there, just like staring at me. And I'm thinking, all right, what's up? And I walked up to her mother, I go, is something wrong? She goes, she really wants to talk to you. I'm like, it's okay, bring her over here. I'll never forget, her name was Rachel. And I said to Rachel, I said, what's going on? And she starts crying. And I'm thinking, oh God, what happened? Somebody hit her with a ball or whatever. She said, I want to play basketball at Iowa State, but by the time I get to high school, you'll be dead. That young lady is now a student at Iowa State. She's not a basketball player, but she's a student. One of the things that I thought I would just share with you is, and I think it was a very nice segue when you talk about the four-way test of the Rotary, is kind of the way we run our program. And the way we call it is we talk about the Iowa State way of doing things. If you come to our building, there's signs everywhere, and it's just the way we've created. In college sports, everyone talks about culture. That's kind of the catchword. But we've tried to create something in how we go about living our life every single day. And it's very similar to the things that, as Rotarians, that fit what you're about. And for us, it starts with a we over me mentality. It is you're part of a group. You play at Iowa State. You represent a unique university, a unique state, a fan base. And that's very important to us. And the way we do that is every single person in our program is important. And I try and tell our players, whether it's the manager, the equipment person, every single person has value. Everyone. Because every single person is impacting their chance to be successful. And what we're trying to teach our young people is, whether it's where you go to work, how you do things, how you represent yourself, and the story that Doug told is true. When we go on the road, I tell our team, okay, there's three kinds of people you're going to run into. People that love Iowa State, so make them love you more. People who hate Iowa State, so you got to trying to get them on your side a little bit. And then there's people in the middle that never heard of Iowa State. And how are they going to react to you? And the two examples I give all the time is, we travel on an airplane, okay? And you're on the plane, and the flight attendant always says, I need 3 minutes of your undivided attention. No one pays attention. We all fly, right? Okay, most of us thank God we're back to flying and all that stuff. But every time I sit on a plane, you listen to all these conversations. So one of the things for us is, no one talks. Everyone sits there. They look straight ahead. You take your earbuds out and you pay attention. The other thing that we do when we travel is, every single person that gets off the bus says thank you to the bus driver. Every single time. And those sound like trivial, little, ridiculous things. You have no idea the impact that makes on people. And every flight attendant, every bus driver is always like, I want your team. Because they do things the right way. And what we're trying to teach our young people is, how do I impact success? Not just on a team, whether it's your family, your business, whatever you want to do. What am I doing to make things better? And not every kid on our team is Ashley Jones, who's going to be an All-American and arguably the greatest basketball player to ever play at Iowa State. Mary Kate King is a walk-on, and she's about this tall. She means as much to our team as Ashley Jones does. Now, you don't know that because you don't see Mary Kay King. It's hard to see her anyway, she's so damn short. But our team knows, and the value of what happens in our office, in our building, in our practice facility, every single day. And I'm a really big person on choices. We all make choices, okay? And I tell our players all the time, you know, if there's any doubt in your mind, it's probably not a good choice. Whether it's on the basketball court or off. And what choices am I going to make myself better, my team better, my school better, my family better, my business better? We all have those choices to make. I'm excuse me. I used to be one of those coaches that, like, you guys have to do this. You have to do this. No, they don't. Young people today don't do anything they don't want to do. I promise you. Okay? There's a lot, everyone said, what's different now? Well, the number one thing is modern day. I'm not saying it's good or bad. This is the world I live in. It used to be, I would say to a team, a good team, you got to do this, 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 and this. And they would look at you, and they would either nod or just, they would do it. They'd go back to their apartment, and they'd complain about the coach, about whatever, and then they'd come back the next day and try and do it. Now, when we tell someone something, we have to explain why we're doing it. And what is the benefit to you when you do it? And trying to teach them some level of accountability. That's another thing that we talk about the Iowa State way. It is not always someone else's fault when it doesn't go your way. It's not always the professor's fault. Okay? It's not always your boss's fault. It's not always the referee's fault. If you come to our games, one of our goals is you will never, shouldn't say never, the goal is you will never see a reaction from one of our players during a game that's negative. We don't do that. They might be mad, but they shut their mouth, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and move on. Okay? It drives me crazy to watch NBA games and WNBA games. I mean, I love basketball, obviously, and I'll watch tonight. Every NBA player feels like they never, ever committed a foul. Ever. Or they always got fouled. And people get tired of that, I think. Our job is how do we represent our fan base, and that's what we try and do every single day. So we're trying to do things that really impact success in the short term, that leads to long-term success, so that in your line of work or your charitable endeavor, you want one of our players to be with you, to be engaged with you, to be a part of what you're doing, because they do things the right way. When I first got to Iowa State 27 years ago, I'm on my 7th men's coach, so you know, it's like I've learned a lot over the years. I lost track of presidents and ADs and volleyball coaches, and I've lost track of all that stuff. But there used to be a barn. If you drive from Hilton and you're going on Highway 30 and you're going east towards Marshtown, Cedar Rapids, there used to be a huge barn. And on the side of the barn, it was painted, "Do the right thing." Think about that for a second. Simple. Okay, we might disagree sometimes what the right thing is. So every single year, I would put our team on a bus and we would drive and we would sit in front of that sign. And I'd turn around and come back. And I'd say, all right, let's start there. Let's do the right thing. And for us, doing the right thing is how we represent our school, our fan base. Because at some point, the basketball is going to be done. And I get it. The world we live in now, I just turned 65 May 14th. And I'm not excited about the end of my lifetime contract, but I don't know that I could do what young people have to do in coaching nowadays. With social media, the talk radio, blogs, all the experts, it's a hard thing for young people today. It's a very hard thing. So we spend a lot of time with our players talking about social media, talking about things that impact their lives and can do it. I'm not one of those people that, there's some schools that say, you got to get off social media, shut your phone off, no Twitter, no Instagram, no TikTok, no whatever they've invented since we got here today. We don't do that. We try and do it in a way where it can be a positive thing. So we try and do that as best we can. The last thing I'll say, and then my main thing is I want to answer your questions, is I really want to say thank you to all of you, because I know the people in this room have invested time, money, energy, all of the above, and whether we're Iowa fans, Iowa State fans, UNI fans, whatever fan, to make our state and make our community the most unique and special place you can be. And sometimes when you live in Ames, Des Moines, Ankeny, you kind of take it for granted, but it's not a bad view. It's not a bad way to live your life. And when you look at stuff that's going on, we're not immune to it, folks. We're not. I get it. But I travel a lot. I've never ever regretted moving back to Iowa. I was born in Davenport. My wife's from Ruthven, Iowa. And everyone's like, where's that? If you're an Iowa State fan, it's where Lauren Meyer was from. If you're not an Iowa State fan, it's by Lake Okoboji. And it's about this big. But we really do. What you've done and how you've done it has allowed so many young people to have an opportunity that they can't quantify. So I really sincerely appreciate that. And anytime, any place we can help you with anything, please let me know. And with that, I might take this with me. That might be it. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have, if you have any. Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on the transfer portal, and is it viable for college athletics?
What are my thoughts on the transfer portal? And is it viable for college athletics? The big thing now is when all the coaches speak, we have an ongoing bet. No, a friendly wager, because you can't bet. Is the first question NIL or the portal? So when I get in the car, I'm going to text Matt and TJ and say it was the portal. We got a running tally here. For those of you that don't know what the transfer portal is, briefly, if you're a student athlete at Iowa State University and you want to leave to go to another school, you used to have to walk into my office, ask for permission to leave. You left. You had to sit out a year, and then you got to play. While you were sitting out, you could still be on scholarship. So you went from Iowa State to Minnesota. You had to sit out a year, didn't lose the year, and then you play. Now, you don't have to tell anyone, and you can leave Iowa State and go to Minnesota and play immediately. It has created chaos. Roster management now is impossible. That's why I have a huge dry erase board in my office, because you don't know who's on your team. I mean, you just don't. I mean, Aubrey Jones walked into my office, the sister of my best player transferred. There's no, the one thing I'm concerned about as the old guy, get off my lawn, is there's no, like the analogy I spoke at an NCAA convention, and the analogy I gave was, okay, when I drive home, there's a stoplight, there's stop sign, there's speed limits, there's something where you stop at a red light, you look, and then you go. Our kids have no stop signs now. I'm not happy, I'm out. Now, I don't know what that does when you say to them, I want this on my desk Monday morning at 8 o'clock, and they look at you and go, no, I'm out. The average young person now changes jobs 32 times before they're 50 years old. 32. Now, it might be within the same company, but what we're creating is, and again, kids, if they don't want to be there, that's fine. I want kids that want to be there. But I do think we've created a way that's maybe not realistic for them. And the thing I find interesting is when they leave and go to a new place, it's amazing how many of them now, and you see it in men's basketball and football, men's basketball especially, they're going back to the school that they originally left. It's like, I told my wife, I'm like, it'd be like, babe, I'm leaving, gonna go find Sandra Bullock, and then I'm coming back to you. You know? Like, and she says, good luck if you can do it, so. But, no, it's created a lot of problems. And you look at, men's basketball has suffered the most. It hasn't hit football as much, because in football you got 130 guys, and there's all, men's basketball has become a huge deal. Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions.
Yes.
One is there a limit to how many times you could do that transferring? And my second question is, how is your relationship with PJ and Matt?
First question is there a limit to the transfer portal? It's a great question. You get one freebie. So you leave Iowa State and go to Minnesota, you can play Minnesota. If you leave Minnesota and want to go to North Dakota State, you have to sit out a year. So you get one mulligan. My relationship with Matt and TJ is really good. You know, we just got done with the tailgate tour. They're really good guys. Obviously, you know, I tell Matt all the time, at some point, he's going to look like me. Old, tired, gray. He's not going to look as good as he does now. The guy never eats anything. He's like, come on, man, have a piece of meat or something, you know? He's amazing. The guy is so committed to what he does, how he does it. TJ I've known forever. He is married to one of my former players. So I've kind of been like, you better take care of her kind of thing. But TJ's been around for a long time, in and out of the Iowa State program. But they're really good guys. They love Iowa State. They love what they're doing. I think when you look at a university, our situation, I've been at Iowa State, like I said, a long time. I've never seen us in a better spot, ever. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Iowa State. It's like from Dr. Winterstein to Jamie Pollard to Matt Campbell to TJ to Kevin Dresser to Christy Johnson Lynch. You want to go play? Let's go play. You want to list them? Let's go list them. I don't give a damn who you are, and we'll go. And I think what you're seeing in the facilities, and we're building our bridge. Our bridge is coming over University Avenue. It's going to be cool. Yeah, they're going to build a bridge so you don't have to cross the street anymore and get hit by a car, and But that's going to start. So it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yes, ma'am.
So what's your forecast for your team for the upcoming year?
Forecast for our team for the upcoming year. We should be very, very good. I'm not one of those people that has ever said we're going to do this, and this. It's not fair to the players. You don't know what's going to happen, but we are very skilled. We have our best players back. I tell our players every year, and some teams are good at this, some teams are bad at this. This past year's team was the best I've had in 20 years. I said, I'm a basketball coach, I am not a drama teacher. And that's how the season starts. And this group was really good at that, got along great. We survived most of our bumps and bruises. What our players did, most of them, 2 years ago in the COVID year, is the most unbelievable thing I've ever witnessed. For our kids to never be together, stay in the same hotel room, we never had one meal together. And so everyone's like, well, this past year, it's going to be great, we're all going to be together. You don't know. Maybe it was better that we're not together. That's why my wife and I get along so well. I'm never home. And when I'm home, I'm in the basement, she's upstairs. It works out perfect. But we're going to be, I would be shocked if we're not rated preseason top 10. I'm not saying we're that good, but we're going to be pretty good, hopefully. Yes, sir.
How do you continue to hone your leadership skills, develop your leadership skills?
How do we continue to develop and hone our leadership skills? That's a phenomenal question. And I think for me, it's about watching other people. I'm really big on watching other people when they're successful, when things go poorly. I have a lot more individual meetings with players than I used to. It's like, all right, tell me what you're thinking. What do you need? I've changed my staff from time to time, and we're younger. We're going to have new people on our staff next year. I think the other thing is I've learned to delegate better than I used to. And I think the other thing, this sounds really silly, grandkids change your life a little bit, and I have 4. And so there's a lot of that stuff. But for me, seriously, I'm not a big reader. I'm not one of these people that reads 9,000 John Gordon leadership books. And I mean, I always thought that if there was one way to do it, there'd be one person writing a book. I mean, how many people write books on leadership? I mean, a lot of people. And everyone has good ideas. I'm more of a live it, see it, adjust. You know, I'm really big on adjust, adapt, and overcome. That we talk about that a lot. But I think for me, it's a lot of it's just watching people who are really, really good at their job. I do a lot of like watching YouTube, and not just athletes. You know whether you're in corporate America or not, there are certain people that are successful for a reason, and I really try and follow that. And the young people have really, the players of today challenge us a lot more than the other, as I mentioned earlier. So hopefully we're adjusting and giving them the opportunities that they need.
Thank you.
It's a great question. Yes, sir.
In recent NCAA men and women's championships, there's been the light on equity, women versus men. Do you feel like that is improving in the NCAA, and have you ever had to fight for that at Iowa State?
No, that's a phenomenal. The question is about equity in the NCAA championships between men's tournaments, women's tournaments. I'm one of the people that our situation has been phenomenal. We have not faced any equity issues. When we were in San Antonio during the COVID year compared to the men, our experience was great. Now, other teams, it was not. A lot of the equity issue at the highest level of the NCAA tournament comes down to corporate sponsorships, things like that. It's not actually has anything to do with the game, and I think that's kind of weird. At Iowa State, it's been since the day I got there, it's been great. I mean, we travel exactly like our men. We stay in the same hotels as our men. We get practice time. We've never had, the only issue that I've ever had is the men's coach usually has 1 extra 0 on his contract than I do. That's the only equity issue. But that's the way it should be. But really, we've been lucky at Iowa State that it has not been a concern. And nationally, there are some staffing and little things, but most of it is behind the scenes. It's not what you would see on the court or the experience that the kids have. The term that the NCAA uses is back of house. What's going on behind the scenes. But we've been lucky. But it's not going away. The thing you hear at the Big 12 or the NCAA office is, if you want to scare someone, seriously, this is the best way to do it in the modern world. We're 1 tweet away. Think about that. If you tweet something out negative or one of my players does, the whole world freaks out. And so everyone, that's the new catchphrase in the Big 12 and the NCAA is like, we're 1 tweet away from, like, okay, let them tweet it. Who cares? So, yes, sir.
You didn't answer the NIL part yet.
Oh, yeah. Dang. Oh, hey, look at the time. I'd probably get in trouble for doing that, sorry. Real quickly, the NIL thing, if you don't know what that is, it's name, image, likeness, which means student athletes are allowed to use their name, their image, and their likeness to benefit, so i.e., they can print t-shirts. Ashley Jones just signed autographs at a fairway in Ames and got paid. They can have camps. They can do individual lessons. If you wanted Lexi Donarski to show up at your daughter's birthday party, you can give her $100. 2 years ago, you could not. The difference now between NIL and pay for play is the issue. You're reading all these articles about Tyrese Hunter left Iowa State and went to Texas and supposedly got paid. That's pay for play. But it's under the name, image, and likeness umbrella. So until the NCAA can figure out how do we let them transfer when they want and manage the collectives, you're going to see that. The idea was to let a young person, like if you're a music student and you give piano lessons, you can charge. So why can't Ashley Jones charge for a t-shirt? Now it can't say Iowa State on it. It's name, image, and likeness. It cannot say, so if you see like a t-shirt and it's Ashley Jones or Lexi Donarski or Emily Ryan, it'll have their picture, their number, but it can't say Iowa State. I don't think anyone has a problem with that. I think most people see that as a benefit. It's just the idea now that people are just paying players. Basically, cheating has become legal. I mean, let's be honest. So for us, it hasn't really hit us a whole lot. We've dealt with it a little, but we're just going to keep recruiting the kids that fit us, and hopefully, I don't see it as a sustainable business model over the next couple of years, but the next 2 years, it's going to be ultra volatile. If you're an Iowa State fan, an Iowa fan, you know, when Nick Saban stands up there and says Texas A&M just bought their whole team, and I mean, there's going to be a lot of that going on. Plus, you don't really know how much those guys are getting paid. There's a lot of talk about, oh, this guy got $500,000. I want to see it. You know, so the next 2 years are going to be interesting. Yes, sir.
Coach, this time of year, do you get to relax and follow your second favorite team?
This time of year, do I get to relax and follow my second favorite team? My second favorite team, and it might be my favorite team, is the St. Louis Cardinals. And no, I do not relax. I'm sitting in my office yesterday. They got a 5-1 lead, 2 outs. 3 times they got 2 strikes on the guy, and he almost gives up a grand slam to lose the dang game. I'm like, no, I'm so stressed out. I'm screaming, and my ops guy comes in, Coach, what happened? I go, nothing. Just go back to your office. So, no, right now, June is a little slower for us. We decided not to have camps this summer so that our players can have their name, image, and likeness camp. We just got done a tailgate tour. Recruiting goes on. The transfer portal has taught me to always have my phone with me. But it's mainly grandkids. Oh, how about this? I'm going to make you all jealous. The men in the room, not the ladies. Father's Day weekend. For Father's Day and my birthday, my 2 boys and I are going to Boston for the U.S. Open, and the Cardinals are at Fenway. Boom! So that's my big trip. We just took the whole family to Disney World. How many of you been to Disney World lately? Okay? Have you been there since they had those little bracelets? Okay, they give you this bracelet. He's standing up telling me to get off. Okay, and it's like it looks like a watch, and you just like scan. My grandkids are like got like tennis elbow. It's like they're doing this the whole time. So the 3rd day, I go downstairs. All the kids are taking a nap, so I go down, bought a couple drinks for the old folks sitting at the pool. I do the thing, and the guy looked at me and goes, "Oh man, you've been busy." It was worth every penny. Again, thank you so much. And if there's ever anything we can do, like if there's a young person in your life that needs a note from a player or anything, you know where we are. We're honored to be here. Thank you so much. Go Cyclones.
Wow. And one thing I've heard him say a number of times with his players, don't be sad that it's over, but be happy because it happened. Heard him say it a number of times on the radio. Coach, thank you for your presentation today, being outstanding ambassador for Iowa State and women's athletics. Okay, another quick story. Big 12 tournament, we were fortunate enough, my wife and I, to sit next to one of the players' parents. This is a while back, and they said that she had over 50 Division I scholarship offers to play basketball. And they said they were absolutely delighted that she selected Iowa State. And if you know anything about Coach Finley and how he coaches during the game, he says he coaches hard, which means if you're a player and you miss your defensive assignment, chances are you're going to be pulled over to the bench, and coach is going to let you know in pretty no uncertain terms that you didn't do something right. And this daughter of this couple, she was a star player, and she missed her defensive assignment, and coach pulled her out and let her know what she did wrong. So I said, does that bother you? And both of them got this big grin on their face and said, absolutely not. They said, he coaches them hard at games and in practices, but outside of that, every single one of those young women on his team is as good as his daughter. We know that as long as my daughter is there with Coach Finley, nothing bad is going to happen to her, and he will see to that. So that's the way he coaches. And in your honor today, we are donating a book to the Rotary Rosie Reader Van through the Des Moines Public Library Foundation. Last year, our Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation donated $40,000 to be able to purchase this van through our community grant program. Upcoming meetings here at the Embassy Club. Please think about someone you know that would be interested to hear one of our speakers and invite them to a meeting. And as you know, you need to have yourself and them registered by 9 a.m. on Wednesday. June 9th, no meeting because no one wanted to follow Coach after he spoke. Actually, just so happened the Embassy Club could not host us that day. And the following Friday, on the 10th, is our golf outing, so maybe think about joining up for a round of golf to make up for the meeting. Also, the Rotary office will be closed this Friday through June 10th, as Kitty and Becky Greenwald will be attending the Rotary International Convention to be held this year in Houston, Texas. Good to have that convention back again. June 16th, International Service Project with Tanzania Rotary Club. And June 23rd, to be announced. You doing anything on the 23rd on Thursday? Thank you for being with us today, being part of your Rotary Club of Des Moines. Remember, no meeting next week, so we'll see you on the 16th. We are adjourned.